Blog Talk Radio.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and normally alongside joining me is my co-host, LPGA professional Cindy Miller, but she is off again this week on another adventure, and we'll talk to her next week when she comes back as to what she's been up to this week. But I'm hosting the show myself this morning, so welcome, everybody. I got two great guests, two young ladies that are going to be joining me this morning. One of them is waiting in the wings right now, Hyemin Kim. Of course, she's the winner of the 4th annual Murphy USA El Dorado Shootout. And then a little bit later in the show, I'm going to be joined back again by somebody who was actually on the show on July 31st, Kendall Dye. She was the winner of this past week's second annual Guardian Championship. So she's going to be coming back here on the second half, joining me for the second time on the show. But let me just remind everybody before I bring Hyemin out onto the show that we are live every Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the blogtalkradio.com network. And the best way to follow us, folks, is to do this. Go to blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf, or just simply type in Women of Golf into the search key, and that will take you to the main page. And, of course, we'll be there Tuesdays from 9 to 10 front and center. For some reason, if you can't join us live, just visit that link and scroll down to the on-demand section. All of our shows, even though they are live broadcasts, are also auto-recorded, so you can scroll down to the on-demand section if you can't join us live and listen when it's convenient for you to one of the recorded versions, not just this morning's show, but you can go back into the archives section and check out maybe some of the previously aired shows that you might have missed. But thanks for joining us this morning. Some other great ways, other social media platforms that you can tune into the show is if you go to iTunes.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com, and also TalkStreamLive.com as well. And again, just type in Women of Golf in the search key, and you can listen on those great social media platforms. Of course, I update on all social media, Facebook and Twitter, and also on LinkedIn. You can check out as well all of the posts there as we indicate who's going to be on each given week. So I usually post those the night before the shows. And also don't forget to join me Thursday evening for Golf Talk Live, which is my premium show, and that airs from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Always start off with a great round of Coach's Corner, panel discussion, and then I usually have a great interesting guest to follow on the second half of the show that I'll interview. So make sure you choose to tune in Thursday to Golf Talk Live as well. And again, go to blogtalkradio.com/Golf Talk Live for that show. And again, all of the other social media platforms that I just mentioned, you'll get updates there. And you can also tune in on some of the other platforms. Some other great ways to reach out to the program here as well. You're always welcome to call in and speak to either Cindy or I. Of course, Cindy's not here this week, but you can talk to me if you want. The number to call is area code 347-945-5855. Or you can certainly reach out with any comments or questions you might have to either Cindy or myself. And Cindy's email is cindy@cindymillergolf.com, and mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. All right, my first guest this morning, I've actually been talking to her a little bit off air here, just kind of getting a little familiar with one another, and I'm going to bring her out now here. But let me just tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Hyemin Kim. Of course, she is the winner of the 4th annual Murphy USA El Dorado Shootout, which took place a couple of weeks ago, and on Sunday, September 16th, she captured her second career professional win. She's a native of Seoul. She finished with a 5-under par overall, showing to secure victory at the Mystic Creek Golf Club at that particular tournament, and actually won by 3 strokes. The performance launched Kim 66 spots in the Volvic race for the card to number 31. She took this past week off to heal a shoulder injury, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about that on air. but even so, only moved back one position in the rankings. She's going to be in the field for the Iowa Golf Classic before ending the year from October 4th to 7th at the Symetra Tour Championship and, of course, Daytona Beach, Florida. That'll round out the final tournament for the Symetra Tour of this year. But anyways, let me welcome my very special guest this morning, Hyemin Kim. Good morning, Hyemin.
Good morning.
Well, thank you, first off, for joining me this morning on the Women of Golf Show. And, of course, most importantly, congratulations on your recent win.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for having me today. It's really, I'm kind of nervous on the live radio show,
Well, it's always, listen, just to make you feel good, I always get a little bit nervous too sometimes because you never know what to say sometimes. But you're doing fine. You did great off air, and I have no problem. You'll do very well this morning. But again, thank you for joining me. All right, so before we talk about the tournament a little bit and about your win, you were telling me a little bit, which was kind of, I found a little bit humorous, but you were telling me about your shoulder injury, and I thought, well, maybe you heard it out in the golf course, but you didn't. So why don't you just share a little bit with the audience how you sort of injured your shoulder?
It's kind of stupid. I should have taken a break, but anyway, I had to drive like 12 hours to, Arkansas from Garden City, Kansas. And I was kind of rushing it because I didn't want to drive half and half, and I really wanted to get there as much as I can. So anyway, I was driving, I think I drove like 5 straight, and I took a quick break to put the gas on there, and I start driving again right away. No break. I really didn't deserve a break. So anyway, I was driving, and I was kind of bored. And I didn't really realize about my posture, and then I hurt my neck and shoulder on the left, and it got worse on Tuesday. So I was so miserable. I was not sure I can play. I was able to play the tournament, or do I need to skip this tournament and I need to skip another tournament next week again? So I was kind of miserable, but it gets better slowly, and thankfully, I able to play the Pro-Am on Thursday, 9 holes, which was great and start to warming up. And then I don't know. I don't know how it works, but it works for me for that week for sure.
Well, I'm glad it was nothing more serious, Hyemin. There's nothing worse than coming into a tournament and you're just not feeling 100%. And I hope you. As I mentioned to you off air, I hope you learned a valuable lesson that you need to get out and take those breaks, even when you're just doing something as simple as driving. Because as we were discussing, something that they've done studies on here lately over the last few years, we've heard about people that work in offices that sit behind a computer desk all the time need to get up and move around because your body gets into that posture for such a long time that it puts a lot of pressure on the muscles and things like that. So. And then when you get out and do physical activity like swinging a golf club or something else, then you're more prone to more serious injury. So remember next time when you're driving between tournaments, Hyemin, get out not just to pump the gas, but get out and take a little break, and maybe do a few stretches, and hopefully you won't run into that problem. But now I want to talk a little bit about the tournament. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole thing, but a couple things sort of jumped out to me, particularly on the final day, and you had a little bit of a shaky start there for the final round at Mystic Creek Golf Course. You actually bogeyed 3 of the first 8 holes, and really sort of dropped you down. Let me ask you from a mindset perspective, if you will. When something like that happens, I mean, a lot of amateurs, they're out there and, they're, to them, 1 or 2 bogeys is nothing. I mean, they're looking at 8, 10, 12 bogeys sometimes in their round. But as a professional, three bogeys can kind of potentially derail you mentally, especially when they're, in the early set of a tournament. What do you say to yourself at that point when you've now got these 3 bogeys under your belt for that final round? and you're in contention, of course, to win. What do you say to yourself mentally to say, okay, I need to change this? What do you say? What's the thought process?
Yeah, I mean, well, I was reading about the kind of situation, like books or a lot of articles. So we need to think about the positive, or you need to stay strong and focused. But it's hard. It's so hard to forget about what I missed. Like the last 3 bogey was terrible, and I put that makes all the girls be the first position, like 3 or 4 girls all together. So I was like, it was kind of depressed, but first of all, I really appreciate how, being on the last group on the last day. I cannot, I need to admit that. And I was thinking about that. I try to think about how appreciated I am right now. I was so struggled this whole year. I just made 4 cuts until that week. It was kind of depressing, and my shoulder injury was happened, but it's getting better every day. And I try to think about what I had, and I try to think about how the thing I made it that week. Then and luckily I made another some birdie and number 9 hole, so that changes a lot. Like it changed the whole game.
Right.
And then I start to play a little more comfortable. Even I made a bogey, I feel like, I'm still in the position. I'm still in happy mood. So yeah, that's only I can tell.
Well, that's a great answer. Well, what was really interesting, and I want people listening to the show, I want them to really appreciate and understand your position. You were actually 2 shots ahead at the start, and those bogeys sort of dropped you into a different position. So, here you are, you're leading the tournament, and suddenly now you're trying to scramble to catch back up. And you raised a very interesting point, Hyemin, is that when you got to number 9 and made that birdie, that changed once again your mindset to say, okay, hey, this is not so bad. I can recover from this, and that helped propel you forward and ultimately to win the tournament. Correct?
That's what I'm meaning.
Yeah, and that's important. And so you mentioned also in your response a moment ago, you mentioned about you've been struggling throughout this year. What particularly have you been struggling with? What's been giving you the most difficulty this year that's caused you to struggle somewhat?
I still try to figure that out. Well, because I've been hitting good on the range or on the golf course, I've been a little struggling with my putting, but it was not about something particular part. I think my mindset was I tried to force me so much, so I didn't really take any mistake when I make it. Even it's a 1 bogey, I get really upset, or I get really depressed, disappointed in myself because I try so hard while it's not going well. So it's going down and down and down. So I don't know. And obviously the girls playing so well this year, and there was a lot of underpar cuts this year. And I think that also makes me nervous every week, because if I make a bogey, if I'm not making a under par, I'm gonna miss another cut. That kind of situation keep happen again, and the kind of experience doesn't help me to look forward to next tournament whenever I make another little mistake. But so I was. When I was starting this tournament from Sufus, I was kind of relaxed because I feel like, nothing I can really do. I have to change my attitude of the week, every week. If I really try hard to make me feel comfortable, talk more with my caddy and talk with other girls, more than normal. I'm not a really talkative person, so I don't really talk too much with the players or with my friends or with my parents. I try to release myself so hard.
Would you say then that you're more of what they call an introvert as opposed to an extrovert? An introvert is somebody that's more a little quiet, maybe a little shyer, that type of thing. An extrovert is somebody like me that's very yeah.
I'm a very shy person. I mean, even my English is obviously not my first language. I'm still trying working on it, and even my Korean is sometimes very nervy. Sometimes I don't know this word is proper word to use in this situation. Just not comfortable talking with in front of a lot of people or talking with people who doesn't really know about me. I don't want to get offended, and also I don't want to make some weird situation.
Right. Well, and that's understandable, especially when there is. And let me just say, I think your English is very well. I've spoken to many others from other parts of Asia, and I know some obviously struggle quite a bit, and others speak a little bit more fluently. But you're kind of, I would say, above average when it comes to your English. I think you do very, very well. It's very easy to understand you.
You're so polite.
So well, that's just something to build on from there. What's interesting is you're actually kind of a veteran of the Symetra Tour. This is your 7th year that you've been out there, so you really understand. Well, no, and I mean that as a positive. I mean that as a positive.
Yeah.
Because I know you want to. You're working. I just mean you've been around the game. You've been around the game obviously for a number of years. This is not like your rookie year, so. But you've just gotten your 2nd win, so obviously that tells you, Hyemin, that I know I can do it, and that's got to give you some good positive momentum to finish out this year. So moving forward, even though there's only a few tournaments left, what are you going to do now to hopefully maybe get that 3rd win under your belt?
Yeah, I mean, after that win, it changed a lot of things. My plan, because now I get to look forward to maybe 2nd stage exemption, or maybe I can get into the top 10 too. I mean, life is so unpredictable for me all the time. Last year before I first win, I think that year is going to be my last year for trying out this tournament. But after I won, I start to try again this year, and then I thought again, it's gonna be a last year for me this year. Maybe it's a time to leave, and won again. It's like I don't know what's gonna happen next 2 tournaments, and also next year. I'm very excited to seeing my unpredictable life.
Well, you know what? That's the great thing about youth is you've got so much life ahead of you. And there's so many opportunities. And even if for some reason, hopefully that won't happen, but even for some reason, if golf on the professional stage doesn't go quite the way maybe you envision it to be, you've got a very good start to your career, and you can go a long ways with the experience that you gained here. And let me explain very quickly what I mean, and then I'm going to let you respond. I've always equated golf to mimicking life in so many ways, and the example that I use is this: when you're out in the golf course, there's a lot of obstacles, whether it be bunkers, whether it be water hazards, rough, what have you, that you have to navigate your way around. And life is very much like that as well. There are different challenges and obstacles in life that we have to find ways of navigating. So if you can work some of those challenges out on the golf course, that will then help you work and navigate some of those challenges that you're going to face in your everyday life. So as you develop your skills out in the golf course, think of it this way: I'm also developing and improving my skills in my everyday life. So whether you win, lose, or draw on the Symetra Tour or even out on the LPGA Tour, you're developing lifelong skills that are going to help you no matter what you choose to do from this point forward. Do you understand that?
Yeah. While you were saying that, I was thinking like, I feel I'm more close to sociopaths, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, every week we're competing and we're not getting when we are not getting reached our goal. I feel like, hate my life or hate my social life too. I don't want to talk with anyone, but we're learning every week for sure. I mean, gotta be.
Well, and let me just say this again. We've interviewed a number of other Symetra Tour players here on the show throughout this past season and the previous seasons, and I can assure you, virtually every single girl, no matter how many tournaments they've won or come close to winning, they all feel the same way. There's weeks they get out there, they're really excited, they're kind of jazzed up about what's going to happen that week, and then there's other weeks they're thinking, what am I doing here? I should be doing something else. And they want to give up. So that's just, again, as I was just mentioning a moment ago, that's part of life. You're going to have those ups and down challenges, and how you handle them is how, whether you're going to be successful or not. Success is not equated by how much money you have in the bank. It's how you handle life in general and how you reflect yourself to other people. So if you're positive and you're reaching out, and this brings me to a point that I want to talk to that we talked about off air, is how you project yourself. The image that you project outwards can either be positive or negative, and you have a very positive image, and I'm going to explain to the folks listening exactly what I mean. You did something very, very unique that you should be proud of, and after the trophy ceremony, you announced that you were going to donate $5,000 of your $22,500 winner's check to the LPGA USGA Girls Golf. And it also mirrors what you did after the previous tournament last year. You donated $15,000 from your winnings on that. So that says a lot about your character, that obviously it's important to you to give back. Talk a little bit about that, why you wanted to give back to the LPGA Girls Golf program.
First of all, I really wanted to, I was dreaming about donating my first check because the reason why, I've been, when I growing up, I feel other people, they try to help other people who cannot, well, sometimes it can be a hospital fee or it can be something, a scholarship. I mean, they try hard to help them a lot. And I think that kind of inspired me a lot. So someday if I have a chance of get a winning check, I really wanted to donate really useful place. And I've been there's a lot of girls too on the LPGA. They donated to charity, to maybe it can be a tornado damaged place, or I've been watching them too. So I really appreciate I have a chance to donate.
And I think that's again, I think that's very, very important. People that watch from the outside and they see professional golfers winning this money, and they think, wow, lucky them. I wish I was in their position. But they don't see a lot of the good things. They think, well, they're just stuffing that money in the bank or buying this or buying that. And obviously there's certain things that you're going to, along the way, you're going to treat yourself to, and it's well deserved. But there's another side that a lot of people don't see, and that's particularly why I wanted to point that out, Hyemin, is I wanted to give the folks an opportunity to understand that it's not just about winning the money for you and obviously the tournaments and the accolades. It's about doing something good with that particular win, and you wanted to give something back that's going to help the next young lady coming along, maybe giving her a leg up or giving her an opportunity to be able to go out there and sort of follow in your footsteps. So I think that, again, as I said a moment ago, I think is really a testament to your character. And even though you're somewhat of an introvert, you, in an extrovert way, give from the heart, and that's a wonderful quality to have. So, again, congratulations, not only on the win, but on being a wonderful person.
Oh, thank you. And I'm really careful about that comment. Like, not many people were doing it. You did it, and why didn't I keep the money in the bank to buy something good for me myself? But I'm really careful about that comment because I know it's really hard to travel this tour. It's not
right.
It costs a lot, and we get paid very little. I mean, if there's a girls get paid a lot, but still it's on their situation. I respect all the people's situation. I don't know
Sure.
How much they struggle with the payments, or that reason I really appreciate my parents, and they never my parents encouraged me to help someone if I can, not if I cannot. I mean, if I can. So yeah, because of
Sure.
that, I think I start to thinking about it. I don't really. If I have a chance to, there's a lot of people keep encouraging the girls' golf, like it's junior golf, and they make the time for them to cheer them up and sharing their time. But I tried once, but I feel like I had to learn how to take the time with them, but still it's so much harder than playing golf for me. Like, I don't know what to tell
Right.
them. Well, my language is okay, or do I make them uncomfortable? Just when I feel that, I'm sure the kids feel the same way. I'm still very uncomfortable being with her, No, I mean, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff.
Well, I know exactly.
Wish I could do it better. Yeah.
Well, here, let me just say this sort of in closing, Hyemin, and maybe this will help you to understand. Let me address first what you were talking about. I appreciate and understand what you meant about the comment, the compliment, because it can be very difficult sometimes to receive that, because there are others out there that maybe don't donate or don't do that, and that's not a reflection, a negative reflection on them. They give back in other ways, like you just mentioned. Maybe they're going out and volunteering. They're volunteering their time. So everybody has a place in this world and has a way of giving back, and it doesn't always have to be monetarily. That was just something that was on your heart, and you choose to do that. And let me answer something that you just said a moment ago about, maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable and not assuring how to, maybe give back in other ways. You have to give back the way that makes you feel comfortable and confident. And I'm going to use myself very quickly as an example. When I was very, very young, I was extremely shy and not very comfortable talking, in front of any groups, let alone a large group. And that was a skill that I developed. I chose to do that through being involved in sales and obviously getting into the golf business as an instructor and so forth. For me to go out and compete on the PGA Tour, that's just not going to happen. But for me to be able to teach somebody else the necessary skills to maybe go out and play golf like you do, that I can do quite easily. So we each have a gift, if you will, or gifts in some cases, and you just have to find what gift fits into your mold and work with that. So it doesn't matter what somebody else does, and you should never feel guilty about expressing your gifts, whether it be through monetary donations or through getting involved in a junior league and helping them grow and develop. If that's not something that you're comfortable or feel confident in doing, then that may be not something that is good for you. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that's not something particularly that you might be comfortable with. So you have to go with your strengths, and either way, regardless of what you do, it's helping other people, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I appreciate that comment.
Well, that comes with age. So I can guarantee I'm probably a lot older than you, so that comes with age and experience. Well, Hyemin, I want to, unfortunately our time is out, but I want to thank you very much for joining me this morning on the Women of Golf show. It's been very, very interesting, and I really appreciate not only what you do as a golfer, but what you do as a human being. And I wish you nothing but much continued success and luck. And I hope that you'll come back and join us again on the show. And maybe next time Cindy will be here and get a chance to talk with her, because she's a wealth of knowledge as well. So, but God bless you, and go out there and do well in the next tournament. And I hope you continue to succeed on your path.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it too.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was my first very special guest, Hyemin Kim, of course, the winner of the Murphy USA El Dorado Shootout. And just a lovely young lady, just very, very giving of her time, and just obviously is, like so many out there, grinding it week in, week out on the Symetra Tour, and obviously was successful in her second win out there on tour. And my next guest has actually been on the show. She was on July 31st, and we were celebrating another win. And she's back here again a little over a month, maybe month and a half, celebrating her second win of the season. Of course, I'm talking about Kendall Dye, the winner of the second annual Guardian Championship, which just, of course, took place. Let me tell you a little bit more about her, and then I will bring her on to join me. Kendall, of course, is a proud University of Oklahoma alumna, and who came away with her fourth career Symetra Tour title on Sunday in the second annual Guardian Championship, as I mentioned, contested on the Senator course at Capitol Hill of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail in Prattville, Alabama. She recorded a 16 under par overall performance to win the event by one shot. And with that victory, she becomes the first player on the Symetra Tour this season to capture win number 2. And following that result, she jumped 16 spots in the Volvic race for the card to number 7. And of course, as I mentioned many times before, at the end of the season, the top 10 in the Volvic race for the card earned their LPGA Tour membership for 2019 season. So let me welcome back Kendall Dye. Good morning, Kendall.
Good morning.
Welcome.
How are you? How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing fantastic. Not a problem. Thank you for coming back, and congratulations on win number 2 this season. That's a pretty big feat.
Thank you. Yeah, after I had my win in Albany, I figured that was kind of fun, so I might as well try and do that again. Thankfully, I got it within the end of the year. I was hoping for it a little bit sooner, but I am blessed to get another one.
Well, let me just bring people up to speed. Of course, you were on, as I mentioned, July 31st on the show as the winner of the 34th annual Fusillo Kia Classic in New York, which was win number 2 for the season. But this is actually win number 4 for your Symetra Tour career. So you've really you've racked up the wins here on tour. So congratulations for that. That has to give you a big boost of confidence when you're out there playing week in, week out, correct?
Yeah, I've been playing well, and even though it didn't show in the last 2 weeks when I was missing cuts and making some random large numbers, I just knew that in my bones that something good was going to happen in the final 3 weeks. Thankfully, I've had a win on the Cumming golf course that we've got going on in Longwood. I haven't had that much success in Prattville. I played that golf course my rookie year on the LPGA, so I've played it many a times. But I had one of my best buddies come up from Clearwater, Florida to caddy for me, and together we're dangerous. We got my card together last fall at Q School, so I was grateful to have him come up, and thanks to him for the final 2 events. But I just knew that, after I got that lead on Friday, I never really imagined anybody else winning, to be dead honest. I thought it was going to be mine. I thought this was definitely going to be my week. And, even late on Sunday when I saw it, I was down 2. I think it was a pretty crazy leaderboard. I wasn't really in the know about what was going on, but when I saw I was down 2 with just a few to play, I thought, well, that's not how I envisioned, but okay, I just Gotta go make a few more birdies, and thankfully got the job done without having to go into a playoff.
Wow. And I want to talk about that in just a minute, but I want to go back to the course for a second. First off, what did you make of the course in Prattville? I mean, you obviously are familiar with it and that. Obviously, we've had a lot of rain this season here, so I'm sure that the course, even though we haven't had rain here in the last, at least we haven't had it here in Florida for the last week or so, but I know Alabama's had quite a bit this summer and that. How were the conditions on the course this year in the tournament? Were the course, was it pretty soft? Was it had it firmed up a little bit, or how were the conditions?
Well, they were pure. I mean, the greens were so durable. They were slick, which was nice. They were receptive, which, you know, how firm, fast, receptive are the greens? That was on point. And it seemed like every putt I had was downhill, so it kind of took the guesswork out of, you know, I just barely had to get things going. And anytime I ever did have an uphill putt, it was kind of hard for me. But
right.
The fairways were, I mean, it was in the best shape I've ever seen it. And, you know, we did get a rainstorm that Saturday night, and that kind of delayed things going into Sunday morning. But they did such a wonderful job, and extremely hot and humid. And this old gal,
yes,
I got sick the prior week in Arkansas from the heat, so I was still a little behind the eight ball. But thankfully, that was my biggest feat, was just surviving. So did that.
Yeah. Well, and that's something too that a lot of people don't realize. I mean, you're out in that golf course, you know, for several days in a row, and not just playing on the golf course, but you've got to practice and, you know, warm up in that. So you're outside in that heat for a lot. People just don't appreciate just how much, especially here in the South, how much that zaps your energy. And, you know, obviously, yeah, and that course in Prattville, of course, has been a host site for the LPGA tournament for several years now. And I know a lot of the young girls love that golf course, and obviously you appreciate it as well. Let's go back to what you were just mentioning about here. You came into the final round of the championship trailing by 2 shots, but ultimately ended up shooting a 6-under par 66, which, of course, erased that deficit. What do you say to yourself? Because you came off, obviously, on Saturday. You had a rain delay, and that sort of held you off. So mentally, you're kind of coming out of the tournament for a moment. It might be an hour. It could be 2 hours. I'm not sure how long the delay was. But that sort of takes you out of your game mentality. And then you've got to, you know, come back in and sort of turn it back on. What do you say to yourself to sort of push forward when you're coming from behind, especially coming off a delay like that?
Well, thankfully, on Saturday, I saw the rain coming. It was pretty neat. We had a couple rainbows out there, but we were finished. My group finished. So I ran back to my hotel, took one hot second shower, and went to watch my OU football game. So I had no issue with the delay. It was only about 2 groups that were still out there that needed to finish on Sunday morning. Okay. So, I mean, anytime I've ever won, we've had a delay and weather, but it didn't affect me whatsoever. It might have pushed my tee time back, 30 minutes on Sunday afternoon, but I had no effect whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, that's a bonus, because I know sometimes if it had happened earlier in the round and you had to sit out, and then come back on Sunday and maybe finish half a round, and then have to play, a full round again on Sunday in order to finish the tournament, that can be a little bit more daunting. But when you're behind in a tournament, even though it's only 2 shots, when you're playing against some other tough competitors like that, mentally you've got to really stay sharp, because it can, as I was just talking to Hyemin Kim, who won, I guess it was the week before you, she came out in her final round, again, being ahead of the game, and ended up in her first 8 holes, shot 3 bogeys. So that kind of derailed that momentum a little bit. When you're coming from behind, Kendall, is it important for you to really sort of dig deep and stay really focused on your game, or what do you do? Like, what's the process that you do to say, okay, I've got to come back, I'm ahead a couple of shots here, I want to keep that lead, or I'm behind a couple of shots? What do you do if you're behind in order to mentally prepare yourself and say, okay, I've got to get the job done here?
Well, my focus never changes no matter where I am in the golf tournament. The biggest thing for me is just staying patient and positive up until the very last hole. I knew that all the girls around me, one of AC Tangway, she's a Sooner, just like I am. All these girls are great golfers, and I gave myself so many opportunities, and I just knew that if I continued to hit a lot of greens and hit them in the right quadrants, then I was going to have, plenty of opportunities. And after Saturday, only finishing 3 under, I thought, okay, that's probably my ho-hum bad round, hopefully. I missed, I think, 3. I know, it's crazy, but that golf course, I tell you what, you can go crazy low out there, and especially if you can hit a little further, you can take different lines. But, I knew that it was going to be hard for AC to go 66, 66, 66, but I knew that a 10 under round was probably out there for anybody that was playing well, and hopefully me. Even though I did shoot 7 under that first round, 6 under that final round, it could have been, everyone can say that, but I gave myself so many looks. Thankfully, I made the putts when I needed to, but there's never a shift in focus or maybe a game plan, but thankfully I didn't have to. 17 is kind of a crazy par 5. They pushed us up about 40 yards, but I told my caddy, and he's had experience out there as well, I said, let's just go make birdie the easy way. I don't need any drama late in the day. And unfortunately, I missed the 7-footer birdie putt from above the hole, made par, thought, okay, that's probably giving one back to the field because I knew that the girls behind me were probably going to maybe be a little aggressive or at least make birdie. And unfortunately, I'm not real sure what went down, but they made some mistakes. But experience is everything. You just maintain your same pace. You don't speed up when things get in the hunt. But I do like to be. I like to hunt. I don't like to be hunted. Apparently, anytime I've ever won, I believe I've come from behind. So this is just a repeat in history, I guess.
Well, and you kind of mimic another very well-known player, of course, on the men's side who just happened to win this past weekend. Of course, I'm talking about Tiger Woods. Very seldomly throughout his career, with few exceptions, a lot of times he would come from behind. He was very much like Nicklaus. He would be behind a little bit, and all of a sudden, there would be this charge on the leaderboard, and it was just like everybody just fell on their sword and let him pass on through. So, maybe that works well in your game plan, is that obviously you're a more aggressive player than maybe others on there, but, maybe coming from behind gives you, that sort of mindset that, okay, I've got to now make my charge, and that really gets you fired up, maybe more so than if you had, not that you wouldn't like a 5-shot lead, but maybe that gives you an added incentive to, come from behind. What do you think about that?
Sports psychology comes into play like no other. People get nervous or amped up, and adrenaline is definitely a part of it. I think I was a little amped up the entire day, but I pride myself on always playing smart and controlling my emotions, no matter if I'm, having the lead or not having the lead. It's just so important to maintain just being calm and having fun and staying in the moment. And sometimes you have to trick your brain of, okay, I remember when I first won in 2014 on Symetra Tour, I had to tell myself, you lost. I had a par 3 to finish, and there was an out of bounds right and left. You lost. Just go hit the green, 2-putt, and get on out of here. And so that just kind of lowers your heart rate and just gets you focused on the shot at hand. You just really have to trick your mind into thinking, okay, I'm, at my home course, having a nice little casual round. You got to take the importance out of it sometimes just so that you can go and play your best. So there's little tricks, and that comes with experience. But I'm very proud of myself for how I handled it and how we got the job done late on Sunday.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. You have to find things that put you in the right mindset to be able to play your best. And what might work for you might not work for another player. So you have to sort of, really, work through the process. As you say, that's where the sports psychology kind of comes in. And you have to really understand and know yourself and know your limitations because, again, everybody is different. Some people are more A-type personality and others are a little bit more reserved. Now, you've obviously, as you mentioned, you've got a lot of experience, playing out on tour. And you're in very, very good position right now in the Volvic race for the card. So obviously I know that that's going to be, a little bit in the forefront as well, maintaining that position or improving that position to make sure that you're going to get in to the LPGA next year. We've got, a couple of tournaments left for the season? Is that correct? 2 tournaments,
yeah,
I think?
Just 2 tournaments, seven rounds.
Yeah, so what are you going to do? Are you going to stick with the game plan that you always do, or is there anything different that you might do in order to close out the season on even a bigger high than what you've done now?
Well, I sure would like to go and go get 2 more wins to finish out the season, but I was a little unsure of what my plans were going to be for this upcoming event because it's only about an hour and a half from where I live in Tampa. But we haven't been home since the 4th of July, and yesterday was my 24 hours of being at home, and I had some friends over in St. Pete last night. We were going to go to the Monday night football game. Angela Stanford was over there at Chris Moss's house, and they were begging for us to come over and celebrate her win, my win. So I said, I'm going to put life away, and let's just go have fun. So I might do exactly what I did last week and show up on Wednesday night, have one little pro-am on Thursday, and game time on Friday. Got the same caddy, and like I said, he's a professional golfer, and he's had 2 wins out there. I've had a win out there, so very familiar with the golf course. The most important thing is just learning the green speeds and how they're reacting. And then I'll mosey on over to Daytona and have a relaxing, hopefully, final week over there. And another golf course I'm very familiar with, unfortunately, because of Q School, this and that over the years. So very familiar with both courses. Happy to be near where I'm living and get to drive my own Jeep and see some familiar faces in the next 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to it. People are like, how are you going to change your game plan, this and that? No, I'm just going to go play to win. I'm going to play smart. I feel good about my golf game. The most important thing, we've had 6 weeks in a row to finish. So, and on top of that, I've been adding some pro-ams that are in Milwaukee or wherever. And so the most important thing is just resting. It's not necessarily beating balls late into the season. It's just maintaining and having all these feel-good things. And so I'm ready to go. I'm just sleep and rest is most important for me personally right now.
And, of course, throwing in a little bit of football doesn't hurt either, correct? You mentioned you went to wanted to go and watch the OSU compete. So you're going to be obviously cheering them on through the season.
OU. University of Oklahoma. Definitely not OSU.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, OU. I'm sorry, OU. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You're right.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, we had a little scare last week against Army, and it was pay-per-view, so I was going crazy, not being able to watch the whole game. But the only thing I've got going on right now is maybe the Oklahoma State football game later this year. But I've got a lot of fun things planned for the off season, but I would need to go take care of my golf in the next 2 weeks in order for those fun things to happen, trip-wise.
Right.
But yeah, we love our football, so it keeps us busy when we're not on the golf course. We like to. We're in a few too many pools right now, but it keeps us busy.
Right. Well, you know what? You got to have a little bit of fun, and you've got to, sometimes you have to turn the brain off from golf. I know that's important to you, and obviously you're a competitor, and you've got to stay in the mindset, but also you've got to have time for Kendall outside of golf as well, because as you said, you've just been coming off basically 6 weeks straight of travel and playing and that wears a lot. Does the travel get to you, as I'm sure it does to most, especially when you're playing, 5-6 weeks in a row like that? Does it sometimes just get to you and you say, I need a break?
Yeah, absolutely. I am definitely addicted to the road. I hardly ever say no to opportunities. Last week in Arkansas when I missed the cut, my friend Dory Carter called and said, do you want to go to Fort Worth on Tuesday, and let's do a surprise party for our best buddy, Angela Stanford, who just won the Evian. And I said, sure, let's go. and, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, am I doing the right things for me in order to win? And, thankfully things worked out. I had a lot of fun. My, heart and soul is refreshed by seeing great friends. And so when you're happy in your life, I feel like you're going to play happier. And, been able to see my family a lot in the last few weeks. And so just things are going well for me. Finished off, I don't know if you're familiar, I'm with Golf for Africa, and I've filled this campaign this last week of $50,000 mechanized system over in Zambia. So I'm really proud of that accomplishment. So I keep myself crazy busy, but also I love KD time where I'm just chilling and have nothing on the schedule. So that's what I've got going on the next 2 weeks. It's just a little bit of relaxation and play golf and just, get my work done and then relax.
I couldn't agree wholeheartedly. Now, again, I know you've won a number of times on tour, and every tournament, of course, you get a check, and obviously some of that has to go to pay expenses and things like that. But do you make a point of just taking a little bit and saying, I want to do something just for me? I want to maybe buy myself something a little special, nothing maybe necessarily too fancy, or maybe treat yourself to, a nice spa day or something. Is there something special that you like to do when you win a tournament like that, just sort of celebrate your own personal celebration?
We have a deal. There's four of us best girlfriends: Dory Carter, Christy McPherson, and Angela Stanford, myself. And we always say, if you have a top 10 finish, then you've got to take us all out for like a nice Ruth's Chris steak dinner. And so that would be something that I would splurge on. And thankfully, Angela has a lot racked up, so we're going to go cash in tomorrow night. But, Symetra Tour pays a little differently, so normally it's like a nice sushi dinner on my end, which is still expensive. But, I enjoy wine, and I drink wine like I am a major champion on the LPGA Tour. So I make more putts. I need to make a lot of putts in order to afford my wine club membership. So that's probably something that I like to spend my money on. But, life's too short to drink bad wine. That's how I feel.
I couldn't agree wholeheartedly. I concur. So, yeah, and you have to be able to do something like that. I mean, you've earned it. You've worked hard, and obviously you don't have to go crazy with it, but you have to do something that's a little special to you. And I think the most important thing that you said several times actually through our discussion is really spending time with good friends. And obviously you've made a point of doing that. And also too, it just coincidentally you happen to have good friends that do the same thing that you do, so you can kind of encourage one another along your journey, even though there may be times that you might have to compete against one another. You still obviously remain friends and are able to go out there and celebrate with one another. And you're going to be out there on the LPGA Tour, and your wine stock is going to go up, I'm sure. And I may have to invest, and I might get a windfall myself by investing in that wine stock. So let me know when that happens. But again, Kendall, congratulations again on win number 2 this season. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you come back on the show. And if you win one or both of the next 2 tournaments, you're coming back. So I'll have to come up with some different questions to ask you on those occasions. But if not, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and much continued success, and enjoy the next couple of weeks, and enjoy your time off.
Thank you. It's always good to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
All right. You're very, very welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. That was Kendall Dye, of course, from the University of Oklahoma alumna and recent Symetra Tour winner. and that's OU, not OSU. And my apologies, Kendall, for my error, slip of the tongue. But she won, of course, the second annual Guardian Championship here just this past weekend at the Robert Trent Jones course in Prattville, Alabama, which is a frequent stop, of course, for the LPGA. And it is a great course. I have not played it, but I have been there, and I know that most of the people that I've ever spoken to, in fact, I would say all of the people that I've spoken to, all resoundingly say the same thing, that they love playing the course, and that it's just a great host facility. So, again, congratulations to both of the ladies on the show this morning, Hyemin Kim, and again, Kendall Dye. Congratulations, ladies, on your win on the Symetra Tour. And thank you to all the listeners for faithfully tuning in each and every week and listening to Cindy and I. Of course, Cindy not here this week, but thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it, and it's really through your listenership and your participation in tuning into the broadcast each and every week that help to make it a successful broadcast. And we enjoy speaking with all of the great young ladies and also some of the other more seasoned veterans of the golf professional. And we enjoy having them on. And we're going to continue to bring some interesting discussion to the panel and to the discussions here on the Women of Golf. So hope you'll continue to tune in. Let me just remind everybody, of course, some great ways to tune in. If for some reason you missed this morning's broadcast or you're tuning a little bit later and you want to listen to some of the earlier discussion, just go to blogtalkradio.com, type in Women of Golf, and that will take you to the main page where you are, and you can just scroll down, or if you're already on there, you can just scroll down in a little bit and to the on-demand section, and the recorded version of today's broadcast will then be available, and you can go back and listen to any of the parts that you miss, or you can go back and listen to some of the previously aired broadcasts. As an example, last week, of course, we had the legendary Marilyn Smith and, of course, Debbie Waitkus, another two great professionals as they gear up for the 10th annual Marilyn Smith LPGA Charity Classic, which is going to be on October 1st, Monday, October 1st, out in Arizona. So you can go to Marilyn Smith's LPGA Charity Classic website and get more information there as well. But I want to thank again everybody for tuning in. And Cindy will be back next week. We'll have another interesting show for you, so I hope you'll be sure to tune in. But on that note, I'm Ted Odorico. Thank you for joining us this morning on the Women of Golf Show. God bless everybody, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.